everyone, my name is Kyle May, and I'm here today to take you on a journey. I want to take you on a journey to the beginning of time and answer some questions on who created God. Please join me today as we go ahead and delve into this fantastic subject matter. It is an age-old dilemma, a sticky mess of creative wonder, a mystery so great that it is worthy of academic investigation. It is an enigma, a twister, a teaser. It is a problem so threatening to secular science that when popular atheists attempt to debunk it, they look rather silly doing so. Indeed, it is a conundrum among those who don't know Christ. So what is this riddle, you ask? Well, here it is. If God created the universe, then who created God? It is no wonder that many secular scientists want to squash this question and bury it under the rug. I mean, just think about it. If God doesn't exist, then there is no reason to live our lives any way but according to our own desires. Drink all you want, have sex with whomever you want, swear as desired, step on as many toes as it takes to climb the corporate ladder. I mean, why not? If there's no higher power to hold you accountable, to provide an innate moral compass, to commit you to good behavior, then no one can judge what is right and wrong but you. Morality becomes subjective. But you see, there is a God. Indeed, since Christ's resurrection, the new covenant has become our new morality. God has written a very simple moral code on our hearts, and it is not the Ten Commandments. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." John 13:34-35. In Matthew 22:34-40, it says, "But when the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered themselves together. One of them, a lawyer, asked him a question testing him. 'Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law?' And he said to them, 'You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and foremost commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend the whole law and the prophets.'" See, if there is no God, isn't it interesting that we see love for each other acted out daily on a global scale? Most men and women worldwide love their family and friends. In addition, whether they accept a loving God or not, most of humanity chooses to follow these guidelines and will tell you it is wrong to murder, torture, or treat their peers with contempt. Even the atheist, one who claims that there is no God, lives according to these principles. This is because God wrote it on their hearts too. The Bible makes this very clear to us in Romans 2:12-16. If you sin without knowing what you're doing, God takes that into account. But if you sin knowing full well what you're doing, that's a different story entirely. Merely hearing God's law is a waste of your time. If you don't do what he commands, doing, not hearing, is what makes the difference with God. When outsiders, who have never heard of God's law, follow it more or less by instinct, they confirm its truth by their obedience. They show that God's law is not something alien, imposed on us from without, but woven into the very fabric of our creation. There is something deep within them that echoes God's yes and no, right and wrong. Their response to God's yes and no will become public knowledge on the day that God makes his final decision about every man and woman. The message from God that I proclaim through Jesus Christ takes into account all of these differences. So you see, there is a God. His wisdom is something mysterious that goes deep into the interior of his purposes. In his wisdom, he wrote these two magnificent codes directly into our being. In this way, even those who don't believe in him are acting proof of his love and existence. I repeat, there is a God. So again, who or what created him? The Bible gives us the answer in its very first book. Before anything else is ever mentioned, it is written, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." In the beginning. These three words hold more meaning than most people ever consider. These words signify that God himself is not subject to time. God created time. He was there in the beginning. You see, we live in a world of cause and effect. And all too often we impose the physical laws that are imposed on us, space, time, and matter, on God too. This is a false assumption. Without the element of time, there is no existence of cause and effect. Therefore, anything living within that realm has no cause to exist. It would have already existed. Christian apologist Sean McDowell brilliantly takes this statement one step further with this statement. Finally, asking the question, what caused God, commits a logical fallacy, namely, the categorical fallacy. Two examples of categorical fallacies are, what does the color red taste like? Or, how much does love weigh? Clearly, the categories of color and taste are distinct categories that do not overlap, as are love and weight. Similarly, to ask what caused God is to commit a categorical fallacy, for God is by definition uncaused. In other words, God never began to exist. He has always existed. As you can clearly see, questioning his existence makes very little sense. In the end, there is a God, and he existed long before time itself. Establishing this certainty, then, leads us to another mesmerizing question. Why did he make us? God's love for us, individually, motivated him to create us. We are his children. Thank you for listening today. I'm Kyle May for Surrendered Image, and join us next time as we talk about how we are set apart. Getting deep into the superior interior. Wow, screwed that up. Can you edit that? Can we? Sorry. Can you edit? You'll be able to edit that spot. I messed up all the words there.